Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto Emotions.
Hello, hello, folks. Lovely to be doing this again.
And boy, do we have some interesting developments to discuss this week.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, Before we get into anything too crazy, do you have any news?
Um, the Mission Yozakura Family anime got a key visual. Looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited about that. Don't recall there being a trailer for it, but it looks very good. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 got its key visual and its PV. It looks
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Art style is a little bit different. They switched directors. I know that. I don't know who they switched to.
They switched the director switched from Sung-Hoo Park to Shota Goshonozo. Um, and they also changed character designer, I believe. And besides that, nothing's changed. It's
and
only those
it
two.
looks really good. Looks
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous.
Looks very bubbly and happy, which is that's sure a choice for this arc.
Yeah, I feel like they're doing that on purpose. It has very
Yeah,
much like a high school like adventure day vibe, and they have to be doing it on purpose.
absolutely, absolutely.
Also,
Um,
apparently 16 minutes ago, the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War just released something.
yeah, I think they confirmed the second cour for it for June.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. Um, Spy Family has its second season announced for October with a anime original movie coming in December. Um, and
Yeah,
in
I was
case you're
about to say they're
wondering,
gonna have to start doing some anime original stuff here pretty soon.
no, they're
There's
gonna do the anime original stuff.
not a lot
For
of
the movie.
manga content left.
I think it's called Codename White or Code White, something like that. Um, and in case y'all listening are wondering why we're getting so many news, they had an Anime Japan convention this weekend, so that's where sort of all that is coming from. Um, but yeah, honestly, the biggest for me, the most exciting thing is definitely sort of seeing how well the new people at the Jujutsu Kaisen team are adapting to season two. Because I mean, switching directors after one season is always a sort of is it gonna work? Is it
Yeah, a
not gonna
little
work?
alarming.
Yeah, but I mean, Sung-Woo Park was like an action meathead guy mostly as a director, whereas now Gosso seems to be more of a more of a classical director, more sort of involved with color and with compositing, whereas Park, he kind of left it up to Mappa's division, which is why Jujutsu Kaisen had sort of a very heavy post processing filter on it, which is why some people didn't like it. Couldn't be me, but
Yeah, that
but
trailer looks incredible. So I'm excited to see more of that.
yes. Oh yeah, and also Takehito Koyasu as Toji.
Yes, that was talk about the internet freaking out collectively for like a solid 2 hours.
I saw that and I thought I was insane because I thought they had confirmed that already. Am I am I
First, I had
am I
heard of it.
hallucinating? Okay. Maybe I'm hallucinating, but for some reason I wasn't surprised when it came out and I was like, "Oh, what? This is news?"
Yeah, it's definitely the first I've heard of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't already revealed. I'm not exactly on top of my finger is not on the pulse. I'll say that.
Mhm. Oh,
So
absolutely. I mean, I'm very out of it. This weekend was just very sort of it was loud, so I could actually perceive it. But that's kind of it. Um and I think aside from that, I don't know anything else.
all right. Well then we'll jump in. What do you got for your top three?
Oh, fuck, I need to remember that I read manga. Um, I believe my number three has actually been these last two chapters of Fabricant 100.
Okay.
Yeah. My number two was Blue Box.
Okay.
And my number one was the last chapter, Chainsaw Man.
All right. All right. I like that.
A
Some
very
Fabricant
wacky.
100 love in there.
Hey, I mean, we'll talk about it, but I really did like this last chapter. I mean, I I kind of caught up and read like like 40 chapters over the last hour or so,
All right.
over the last in preparation for this for doing this again. So in my head, it's sort of like okay, very fresh. But yeah, I really liked what I read just now. What about
All
you?
right. I think my number 3 is Ichinose Family.
Hmm.
Number 2 is Chainsaw Man, and number 1 is last week's Jujutsu Kaisen chapter.
Actually, you know what? Can I switch Fabricant 100 with Ichinose because Ichinose was flames?
Yes, you can.
Okay, bet.
I take back that praise for Fabricant 100 love.
Fabric 100 fucking sucked. I don't know what you're talking about. No, it's a comfortable number 4. No, fuck. Jujutsu Kaisen needs to be on number 4. The politics. I
This
hate it.
series stocks are tumbling.
Yeah. It was good. It was better than certain other things in the magazine.
It was. It
Uh,
was. I've been
all
enjoying
right.
the past few as well.
Yes. So, where do we start?
So it looks like first off, we're gonna have Sasuke's story.
I, I don't know. I feel like the novelty of the dinosaurs has
It
worn a
really
little
has
thin.
complete. The only thing that I thought was funny was when the bad guy is giving his villain speech at the end. He's giving it to the Velociraptor and not Sasuke.
That's true. That's really funny.
It's really, he's like, "You're gonna regret this, you fucking Velociraptor."
I also really like Menno's face on the last page in
Yeah,
that
where
little
he's like,
panel
"Are
he
you
gets.
talking to me? I'm a fucking Velociraptor. I have no idea what you're saying."
Yeah. But aside from that, I feel like now it's kind of run its course as a novelty. So now it's just sort of a typical like Naruto filler final fight, like a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, I do like the premise that because Menno is like bonded with Sasuke or whatever now, he's like super jacked, so he's just destroying all these things.
All these paleontologists never quite understood the true power of velociraptors, the power of friendship.
Yeah, clearly.
um, it's also really funny whenever they call them dragons, and I'm like, come on, just drop the word. We know what they are.
Yeah, it's like when The Walking Dead won't say zombie. It's like, come on,
Yeah,
just say it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's sort of like, oh yeah, dinosaur is like a scientific term, so they wouldn't have it. But I don't know. I'm sure they've dropped some
They've
scientific
got
term
gotcha
before.
games. They can have dinosaurs.
They got like video games. What do you think? What kind of gotcha games do you think Boruto plays on his phone? You're the gotcha king, after all.
Well, I know he has the in-universe card game that every manga has, where you open up collectible cards of the
Oh
main
yeah,
characters of your series.
right.
I can only assume there's a digital version of that.
Hmm.
That, and I'm sure he plays something like Dokkan Battle, but just with Naruto characters.
No con battle.
That's what the one that we have right now should be called.
um, but yeah, I mean, it was an okay chapter. Like as I said, I think the novelty is worn thin, and I'm vastly less invested now that it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, now that the dinosaur jokes require a lot more effort, it's just like, it's whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, we got a cool like Jurassic Park panel, page 7. That's pretty cool. Um, but that's kind of it. Uh, that's kind of it out of 10, honestly, for me.
All right, well, next up, since it got demoted several times out of the prestigious top 3 position, is Fabricant 100.
Which was really good. I really liked the conclusion to this fight in the mansion. Um, you know, it felt very sort of Demon Slayer esque to be like, ah, yes, this villain is dying. Here's his entire backstory as he's dying.
It did feel very Demon Slayer of like, oh, actually, this is kind of sad.
Yeah, but it worked. It's the first time this series has pulled it, and it worked. I was actually quite into it. And I like the way they beat him too. Like the whole thing where they like sort of double bluffing him, where it's like, haha, you tried to blindfold me, didn't work. Oh, you tried to threaten me, didn't work. Never mind, they were just trying to make his weak spot appear. Um, so I like that. I think that was a fun little dynamic.
Yeah, I also like the
Um,
reveal that his number was relatively low.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that sets up some stuff for the future that, because a big worry we had at first was like, is this series just going to be them finding a new thing for her to steamroll? And it certainly looks like that is not going to be the case anymore.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of, is it with Ulquiorra in Bleach? Where it's like he opens up his chest and he has the 4 instead of the 1 that the
Yeah,
audience is
that's
expecting.
Ulquiorra.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, oh yeah, you expect this to be like some super high Fabricant, and no, even one in the bottom 30, in the bottom like 40%, if they get some of that Yao flesh, they can keep up with number 100. That's actually kind of crazy now that I'm saying it out loud. Like that massively changes the power structure of this series, which is
Yeah,
cool.
well, and it's interesting too because they set it up as being pretty linear in the beginning, and literally there's a number on their body that says
Yeah.
their Dragon Ball Z power level.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I assume from here on out we're going to start seeing more of them that have Yao in them because obviously the whole point of this was that the entire family got slaughtered except for this kid.
Mm-hmm. So it's just, oh yeah, like every other Fabricant just has like a millimeter of his family's flesh in them.
I also wonder, are
Uh,
we going to get a time skip or not? Because they're going to teach the kid how to fight.
oh, you think we're gonna get a time skip as opposed to like a training arc?
Well, maybe, but I don't know that they're gonna. I mean, he looks like he's 6, so I don't know what physical combat they're gonna be able to teach this kid.
Wasn't Gohan like 6 when he stood up to Frieza?
Gohan's an alien.
So that's no excuse. When when Gohan was this guy's age, he was on a different planet fighting. Like monkey tail, whatever. But like, come on, what is it with this new woke generation of manga?
This wokeness of not sending children to die in space.
Yeah, I mean, ugh, liberal much, frankly. Back in my day, we killed children. Don't quote me on that, please.
Shonen and Show does not endorse the, the prior killing of children.
Only the future. Oh no, but yeah, I guess they kind of have to do a time skip. You're right, because he is kind of very small. Um, it would be kind of early for a time skip, wouldn't it? Though, chapter 15.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, Earthchild did it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But Earthchild also crashed and burned,
Yeah, sure
so
did.
maybe that's not the best like reference point. Um, but yeah, it was really good out of 10. Almost in the top 3 out of 10.
Stop praising it, or pretty soon you're gonna be like, oh wait, no, I forgot about this other thing that
No,
was
no,
better
no.
than.
Don't worry, I'm done.
All right, next up is Jiangshi X.
Wait, let me find it here in the app so I can look stuff up. Pretty cool. This really is like the All Might fight, basically.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, we kind of called that this was gonna happen like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like the use of the actual red for the blood for
Yes,
just like some impact
yes.
when he gets stabbed.
The benefit of it being like being a web series as opposed to printed.
Hmm.
You can just do unannounced color pages. Um, and I mean, honestly, like the action was really good. I really liked sort of the flow of paneling and sort of the way it used, those Toriyama ass like beam lines whenever someone moves, like,
Hmm.
especially with the chief, with the village chief, when he's like moving, he basically leaves like key trails behind him.
I
Um,
also had they kind of faked me out earlier because I was like, oh, this is where he's gonna get killed. Was like page 17 when the kid
mhm.
goes to get. I was like, oh, this is where it is. And then he saves
Yeah.
him, and then they do it again, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is where it is. And then he blocks it a third time, only to end up getting stabbed at the end.
Mhm.
Um, so at least
Yeah.
that was kind of like it added some tension into a result that I was already 100% convinced was about to happen.
Yeah. And I also like the main kid's reaction to seeing it happen. It's actually pretty rough. Like if you look at his facial expressions, that's some
Yeah, he's
good
all real
horror.
fucked up.
Mhm. Um, yeah, honestly, the Naruto vibes continue, I have to say. Like this kind of feels like good Naruto. Like in art and in the way it's sort of in the way the fighting is paced as well. It just reminds me a lot when I was rereading Naruto for the Ocean Cut a year or so ago. Um so yeah, it's pretty good. Um I'm always a little confused with like who's who and who's what in this world,
Yeah, I
but
mean, I think that we're never gonna get away from that because the way it's like fundamentally the way it's written.
yeah.
Like, all right, they
Uh
have this girl who I didn't know existed until like right now, so fine.
yeah.
And then she's immediately like, "Are you gonna bring calamity to the world with voodoo Jiao do?" And I'm like, "All right, man, stop already."
Yeah. I did appreciate, you know, we've had so many like terms dropped on us that don't get explained. Um And then the Moyu Inkstone gets like 2 pages of explanation.
Yeah, like a full breakdown.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, also I do find really funny how it's like oh yeah, this stone like throws ink in form of like gas when you throw it to the ground. It's like why? Smoke bombs exist.
Yeah,
They're not
you,
they're not a high-tech invention that you need to avoid. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it is cool. But I was thinking like that's an odd thing to replace with like fantasy stuff.
yeah. Also, like you'd think it'd be on them because the ink would get in your clothes and stuff, but
Yeah, well, they do say it produces a smoke screen, but it's like it's called an ink ball or an ink stone. So is it ink or is it stone? Or is it smoke? My
it's
bad.
fantasy zombie killer weaponry.
Yeah, exactly. Um but like next chapter like, "Oh yeah, I have my Wu Jing Shi super writing device and it's like a quill."
It's just a pen. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a fucking pen.
We need to read the cardinal directions by looking at the Dao Bao Shin orb, and it's just they're looking at the sun.
Oh God.
um,
Yeah, I mean
so
it's
yeah,
fine. The naming
yeah.
thing still bugs me, but I think it's never gonna go away. So,
At this point, it's more funny than it is annoying when they drop like a speech bubble and it's just words I don't understand. I'm like,
uh-huh.
this
Really
is what
feeling
it
the age
feels
at
like.
that point.
Yeah. But yeah, cool chapter, cool setup, cool series out of 10.
All right. Next we have Mashle.
Oh god, I wish I could just give this a cool series out of 10,
Yeah, this
like
I'm
I
so
used to.
over it. Like it's crazy how over it I am. The joke was a
Yeah.
little funny when he like knocked the door over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but and then he's like, "Hey, I have to train before I go back again." So it's just the exact same as the key, but now he's training in the afterlife, I guess.
Yeah, when I was reading the other chapter and it's like, oh yeah, this heart is gonna need 66 hours to stabilize. I could hear you vomiting from like
Yeah.
across
Uh-huh.
across the Atlantic.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that sucks. Um, yeah, I mean, it's hard to even say anything. Like, it's just people throwing stuff at each other with, at this point, very little context beyond just we have to keep going. Because I know it's trying to do like the character deaths and like the character tension, but I didn't care that much for most of these. I have to admit.
No, and like no one seems to be allowed to die because,
Hmm.
we see Rain and what's his face, the light guy, Rio.
Yeah.
They get blasted at the end, and I'm like, are they supposed to be dead now? Is this when they died? Because they've had mortal wounds for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, are they supposed to be dead, or are they just even more bleeding now than they were
Hmm.
before?
Yeah. Um, and also, he fights Meliadoul, who I'm still not sure when the fuck she got introduced.
She got introduced right before the key, so that's why.
Right, that was why do I care about her? I guess
Yeah,
is
I
my
don't know.
question.
I don't at all. I guess because she's like supposed to. She was protecting Mash when the wizard world was trying to kill him. But
I
I don't really
guess.
care about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, spinning its wheels out of 10, really. There's
It's
nothing.
really all it's doing. We're
Uh,
treading water, trying to make this last longer. I don't know why.
funny Full Metal Alchemist reference out of 10.
All right, we're gonna go straight into Akane Banashi.
All right. Um, Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't anything super special, but it
Yeah.
was fine. It was one of those chapters where they kind of have to like just give you a lot of context because you can't really visually give that much context to a lot of like character skills in a series about acting. So,
Yeah.
but it was fine. It was appreciated.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the vibes with Akane
Yeah, we're going
Banashi.
into a little tournament arc kind of thing. I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I like that there's like a tubby middle-aged man here now. That's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
finally,
Well,
my
not
self-insert.
well, not middle-aged. I mean, what did he say? He's just 30, right? He's
Yeah, he's
over
30.
30. Okay, but I don't know. It brings a little variety to this like little kids club, I guess. Um, that's pretty cool. Um, and it sort of also establishes that like Rakugo is not just a thing for either really old guys or really young kids. It's something you can just get into at any age,
Hmm.
which is, it's a cool thing. It's nothing crazy, but it's cool. Um, but yeah, aside from that, it's very much like a, hey, here's how Rakugo works because probably you don't know, kind of chapters. Like here's how he's like the hierarchy and the
Yeah,
way
we
everything
gotta
is
break Rakugo
structured.
down for you again before we have this tournament, or you'll have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? Like we don't get chapters like these, and it's just like we just see the performances, and then someone wins. No exposition, no narration.
I would read that honestly. I think it would be fucking insane.
It's just fucking. But like every performance is like in painstaking detail.
But see, I
Like,
want that, and then I want to watch people on Twitter like power scale the the competitors and just have vicious arguments over why XYZ won.
well, that other guy, the white-haired guy, was what? He's like the fucking death demon, whatever, who was
Yeah,
acting.
who's been nothing but nice to everyone.
Uh,
The the horrible demon of the Rakugo. This fucking
yeah,
like 20-year-old guy.
they call me the horrible demon of Burger King. um, but But yeah, I mean, Akane Barashi really is kind of that old reliable. Like it always has good vibes, even when the story doesn't
Yeah,
move too
even when there's
much.
not much going on, you're still like, okay, I can get behind this. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
a
yeah,
feel good manga.
yeah, exactly. Um, I also like the new girl that we meet alongside the older guy. When they get in, she's like, "Oh, the atmosphere is so tense. Oh, I can't stand this." And just Akane and the other guy just swooning.
Yeah, just all excited to be there.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Akane Banashi is good out of 10.
All right. And now we have Sakamoto Days.
This is such a hyperactive manga, man.
Yeah, some shit is always going on.
Hmm. Uh,
I mean, it was cool,
yeah.
as it always
Uh,
is. I really like when he, when what's the girl's name? Not Akira, but the Akira's aunt.
yeah, I don't remember, but yeah.
Her. When she sees the grenade and he punches through the car and pulls it up, and all she does says is, "Great, now the grenade is inside the car."
God, but also Sakamoto is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Je- Jesus Christ. Um, also, when he's like, "Oh, chubby assassin, please laugh at me."
kids like fatties. He's figuring it out.
Mhm. Um, Also,
Also, I
this
like
chapter
how
was all.
weird all the bad guys always are in Sakamoto. They're always like just weird
Mhm.
in a good way. There's a lot of personality in there of strangeness. Like the guy who does good deeds so that he can have an easier time doing bad deeds by killing people later,
Yeah,
and he writes it
yeah. I
all in his
mean,
little notebook.
I mean, also his design, with all the piercings and like the
Hmm.
scar on the side of his face. I do find it really funny that Sakamoto kind of follows in JoJo's footsteps. So it's like, be careful, anyone could be the stand user, and then they show like a crowd shot.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of extras and then a guy with 48 piercings and all this shit all over his head. Who could it be?
Careful, the enemy will likely blend into it, and in a crowd, you just see a man wearing 7 bomber jackets.
The enemy could be anywhere.
Has enemy tattooed on his face in like Comic Sans. That's a JoJo villain right there. I'm just telling you. Um, Also, short chapter this week.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know, maybe they're just gearing up toward something.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
just
know,
busy
but only
week.
13 pages is pretty short.
Hmm. But yeah, Sakamoto continues to be raw. I like the way this like school trip or school exam has turned into basically just a full blown assignment. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that
Um,
because the teacher had faith in them not lose to the for sure you're gonna get expelled assignment. This
mhm,
cute little bit.
yeah. So yeah, Sakamoto was also pretty cool out of 10.
All right. So now we have Undead Unluck.
Bro, I love Billy, but the fact that his real name is Billy Alfred is awful.
I hated this chapter so much. Um,
Why? What's wrong with it?
I want to go through and count the number of times they said the word fair in this
Oh, I
chapter.
see.
The, we kind of talked about it last time. We were like, man, it really feels like they're shoehorning in some of these fucking names. I
Hmm.
swear to God, they must have said the word fair at least 4 times a page in this. Like, I thought Nika, or not Nika, Fuko's plan, pretty neat. Was pretty
Hmm.
good. Charge the thing with unluck by stepping on it barefoot, and then when someone else touches it, they'll accidentally trigger it to set the
Hmm.
situation. But
Hmm.
holy shit, you don't have to do that. We get it. We know his power is called unfair. Every third line out of every character's mouth does not have to be the word fair.
All right, we're doing it. Um, First page, I think we're good. Second page, we got one fair. Um, Third page, we're also still good.
There's
Okay, now
two
we're
fair.
getting.
There's two fairs if you count saying unfair on the second page.
Oh, oh yeah. Okay, no, never mind. Yeah, no, then you're right.
Yeah.
It
So
gets pretty
then,
bad.
yeah, page 7 we get the unfair thing across the front, which fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's too much in the flashback.
Mm-hmm.
At post flashback, well, there's an unfair on page 10. Okay.
Yeah. We get a big fair on page 12.
Yep, there's a fair right there. Page 13.
We
There's
got
an unfair
unfair.
immediately in the beginning. There's
Yeah,
two
there's
unfairs.
another. Yep.
Yeah, on that one. And then
Uh,
page 14, there's a fair.
yep. Now page 15 is the explanation, so there's probably nothing, I'd say.
Hmm. 16 is fine. 17 is fine. 18 has a fair in the flashback.
Nice.
Literally in their past, they're also being unfair. And then there's an unfair in page 20.
Yeah.
And then another,
On 21.
well, on 21, there is 3 fairs. Billy's kind and fair nature, unfair.
Oh,
We're keeping things fair.
Oh, okay. Okay, but I mean that's not quite as bad as you were saying. It's still pretty bad.
It's miserable. I'm like, all right, this is not like it was cute at first. This is god awful. Also, I don't know where you go from here because you just recruited like God on your team who can just do whatever he wants, and his power's even better now, so he doesn't have to be a bad guy to make it work. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
I mean,
interested to see how that goes.
yeah, because wait, what exactly did he get now? The power up was basically he can just copy abilities without needing to be feared or
Well,
needing to
it's
be.
it's instead of it, he had to be like perceived by the person as a threat to them
Mhm.
to make it work, and now it's like well, it's all it says is acknowledging one's strength, and I don't know what that means. I, I mean, he copied like everyone's ability, like Unchange, Undraw, and Unavoidable all at the same time, or like, which is crazy. So,
Mhm.
does that mean that he has to acknowledge their strength, or they have to acknowledge his?
Well, either way, that's busted.
It's way better than it was before, yeah. Which is
Yeah.
kind of my point. Like, you have the guy who can now use any power, and seemingly the drawback to it is no longer a thing anymore. So he seems pretty
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe we are moving towards the end of this like section.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of
Um.
have to be because who do you recruit after Billy? You know,
Yeah.
he was the big guy from the last loop.
Yeah, you've recruited the big bad. Um. But I liked his little thing with like his family, and again, I think it's hilarious that his name is Billy Alfred.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
Also, does his daughter look like that sick girl that Andy was with?
Yep. I don't know what to think of that. I
Neither
don't
do
know what
I,
that means.
but she looks a lot like it.
Yeah. Comments explain, please.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
know.
get it.
Again, we don't remember things about Undead Unluck, so maybe that it
Yeah, we
actually
can't
is. I don't know, but
we can't look it up either because they closed down the library in the nursing home. So
they pulled Undead Unluck from the shelves after they read chapter one.
no, they pulled it off the shelves after they heard us go on and on about it. Like, oh no, it makes the senior citizens wild. We need to get rid of it.
It riles up their blood.
Yeah,
Dangerous
my
activity levels.
my blood pressure of 12. Um, but yeah, it was an alright chapter. I like Billy. Um, but yeah, no, you're right. They do really hammer in the like inclusion of the power in the dialogue quite a bit.
It
But
was it
honestly,
was tolerable up till now, but Jesus.
I don't know if I dislike this more though than fucking oh no, their lives will the lives will stop decreasing
Yeah, well, okay. Well, decrease was bad because that's just not a that's not a word that no one says decrease in a
in the
regular
con.
conversation. So like
Yeah.
every time they try to shoehorn it in, it felt really stupid. But this was just the volume, just the sheer volume. Like if you drop it once or twice, like it can be pretty impactful, and you're like, oh, that was a really cool little one-liner. But you can't have
Hmm.
the one-liner every seventh line. It's like, God,
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus.
That is true. Um. Okay, but I'm still gonna say a life that's been fully decreased can't be replenished is one of it's still terrible.
Yeah,
That's
that's one
still
of the worst
worse.
lines I've maybe ever heard. So I'm with you on that as well. Been fully decreased.
um. So Undead Unluck gets a I don't know decreased out of 10. I'm not sure.
Decreased level of my patience out of 10.
Fair out of 10.
Uh, next up is not this one. I thought it was gonna be this one, but next up is My Hero Academia.
Well, I know it's
It's
what
whatever.
do you know? It's a chapter that starts with a flashback explaining the last cliffhanger and it ends with a new
That
cliffhanger.
meme really is correct. It's just always right.
Whoever made that, I don't even remember who made it, but they were cooking. Holy
Absolute
shit!
genius level content.
Yeah, it is. It is hilarious how accurate it is. I mean, it's cool that Mina got to do something. Um,
Yeah, she got to beat the villain from the first chapter. Congratulations.
yeah, hey, she melted like Gigantomachia's hand. That's something. Like he just doesn't have his armor anymore. That's pretty cool there on his fingers. Um, but to me, this is feels really weird because it feels like we're just going through the motions of the last war arc again.
Well, we've
Because in the
kind of
last
always
war
been
arc,
doing that the whole time.
well, yeah, but this one feels weirdly overt in that, oh yeah, you had Mina and Kirishima having like doing some shit with Gantomaki and overcoming their traumas in Kirishima's case. And now we have it again, except Mina overcomes it this time, and it's like, oh, okay, we kind of, I don't know, kind of done that before.
Yeah, I mean, the
Um,
thing that bothers me is like a lot of these chapters feel like, he remembered at the last second that half of this class exists.
mhm.
And so they all have to get their one chapter and they're never going to do anything again. Like Mina's
Yeah,
Mina's not coming back. She's done. This was it.
hmm
This was her contribution to the narrative as a whole right here. Same with like Jiro. Oh, Jiro cracked his helmet and she's never coming back.
yeah.
Like so part of me is just like just skip it then. Honestly. Like just save us all the time.
Also,
Um
it is kind of funny that Mina's big power up moment includes her turning white.
the mutant arc making a lot of sense.
Yeah, that fucking tweet where it's like we need to ask Horikoshi where he was on January 6th. It's starting to rear its head again. I mean I do think it is kind of cool because it's like in the data books it's like, oh yeah, the way she looks is because how saturated she is with acid, and so just like using it up and turning white. It's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I mean it's really funny, but it's also cool. It's a cool bit of like consistency with the external material. Um, Also that final like spread is really cool. I can't wait for it to mean nothing.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, because that's the final spread. Because as per the meme rules, this is where they're giving him his "We got you now" moment, and then next chapter he's gonna flip it back on them,
Yeah, he's gonna
and
have a
then we're
flashback.
gonna end with a cliffhanger where the villains are coming back, and then we're just gonna keep flipping it around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I think MHA has comfortably settled in an area that I would call just unremarkable.
Yeah, it
Like it's
is. Yeah, like this
yeah,
wasn't particularly bad, or it
yeah,
was just like kind of it was fine, you know?
yeah. It's kind of whatever.
Yeah, like I really like the picture of Mount Lady with the giant wrench. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
funny.
cool.
It's
I
really
like.
funny. Um,
I can't believe that out of all the characters, Mount Lady is maybe one of the ones that has stayed consistent to what she's meant to be in the story. And
it's pretty
for
funny.
it, she's actually really cool. I like her a lot.
Yeah, I like her too. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, this has been a consistent complaint of mine through all of my heroes, so this is not new information. I really hate the panels that are just photocopies of a bunch of millions of other panels all stuffed into one thing. I really hate those.
yeah, yeah, no, I feel yeah. Um, in general, the paneling in this chapter was a little busy.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know if it was by design because it was trying to like it was supposed to be a hectic situation. So
mhm.
part of me I want to be generous and say that the paneling was a little over the top because it was trying to sell like everyone's panicked and stressed and freaking out.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know because every panel is like that. So
Um, Speaking of paneling, one good thing on page 8, you can see Mina's acid melt the panel border. That's pretty cool.
yeah, when she's doing her little output power up.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, unremarkable out of 10.
yeah, it is what it is out of 10.
Mount Lady, best girl out of 10.
It's big wrench out of 10.
Big Red.
Uh,
That should be her actual hero name. I mean,
big wrench.
she's also like from a farm, if I remember correctly. So yeah, and she's like a manual worker, she's like big wrench. Connect with the working class.
Blue
It's
collar
smart.
lady. Uh, so next up is the JoJolands.
All right. Before we get to the obvious one, I do find it really funny that it starts with basically a Breaking Bad gag.
Yes, it is. I thought the gag was also funny when he points out every single bit of it, and he's like, "All of these things are correct," and she's like, "Nuh-uh," and so he believes her, and he's completely right about every detail.
Yeah. I also
Is sexual assault Araki's new beating up dogs?
I guess.
Because it seems to
Um
be happening a lot. I mean, we're 2 chapters in. Granted, it's the same guy, but still.
yeah. Um I guess cuz like the other thing for me is also like does November Rain not kill them then?
I guess not. I mean, it looks like it's just like I don't know, because it's like denting their bodies, but also she doesn't even really seem to be getting
Affected.
hurt by it, the woman.
Yeah.
So I guess he can decide, but the cops are just running away.
Yeah. Um but yeah, it definitely feels weird to have like have sexual assault twice in 2 chapters, but you
Yeah, I
know,
mean, we're 2 chapters in, and I mean, like I said, it's the same guy, but
yeah, maybe it's just this guy's gimmick, which makes me hope he fucking croaks soon.
yeah, I'm sure. Hopefully, he's not coming back now that we're on the island.
Well, I saw someone say that oh maybe these like cops are gonna be like the Team Rocket
I hope not.
to JoJo.
I
It's just
mean,
they pop out of the bushes to harass him. Like
yeah, oh, we're here to sexually assault these teenagers again.
yeah, um, yeah, that was uncomfortable. But either way, that scene is over soon enough. And
Yeah.
what I
Mate Kudasai, really dumb.
Monte, okay, what does it do? What's
So
the
I might be wrong about the way I understand this. So if someone in the comments wants to like correct me by all means. But so
Mhm.
it it transforms itself into a duplicate of something that someone else wants.
Yeah.
So by saying I want the camera, it duplicates the camera, but then
Mhm.
it's not perfect. It's like a fucked up one. So their
Yeah.
argument is, oh, there's 2 cameras and they look different. Therefore, both of them are not admissible in court, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Because the footage on one of them looks exactly like you, so why would they not use that? What
Yeah.
judge is like, excuse me, we have another recording in which their faces look slightly different. We can't use either one of these.
It is definitely a little flimsy. Um but I am willing to overlook it because the Mate Kudasai has two key features that I really like.
Being a little
Um
chicken boy.
well, one, he's just a little guy. I mean, look at this fucking thing.
It's very cute.
Yeah. And two, it's a King Crimson reference because Mate Kudasai is a song by King Crimson.
Okay, I can get
Um
behind that.
so if Usagi here wants to unlock King Crimson and turn into Diavolo, all will be forgiven. Just saying, Araki. Um Also, I like Usagi. He's just like a dumb stoner.
Yeah, I like him too. He's just a weird little dude doing his
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, just like Mate Kudasai.
Yeah, I mean they're perfect for each other.
Yeah. And I like the road trip vibe this chapter gives off. Um, if there's gonna be more of this in this part, I think that's gonna be really cool. So they're just a bunch of absolute fucking idiots hanging out with each other.
Yeah, but
Um,
I mean they're already kind of infiltrating the house, so obviously something else has got to happen because they can't. I mean, it's not going to end in like 10 chapters, you know?
no, 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 absolutely
Um,
not.
so I'm interested to
Um,
see what that's going to be, or if they're going to team up with you know who, or something else is going to happen.
mhm.
He who must not be named.
I also like that, Jojo is like a diagnosed psychopath.
Yeah,
That's
which
that's
it's
kind
nice
of
to have the
interesting.
official diagnosis on a JoJo instead of only the theoretical.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I like that we have something to like latch onto with him. Um, like a child psychopath who just doesn't manage to like deal with his emotions in a good way. I'm assuming this is setting up that he's gonna have like his breakthrough moment because it says like oh lack of remorse and guilt, and he's just gonna like something's gonna happen and it's gonna like drive him mad with guilt. I'm assuming that's what this
Brother's
is
gonna
setting
die.
up. Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's the red flags are all over the place for JoJo characters right now. So
That is true. That is definitely true. Um, okay, we talked about that. We talked about Matsuku Dasai. Do we want to talk about the thing?
I mean, we can't not talk about the thing.
Yeah. So the Japanese person in the house, the target's name is Kishibe Rohan. And it's just Rohan. It's straight up just Rohan from the original universe.
Yeah, that's what I don't get is it's just old Rohan, like not different in the slightest.
Well, the thing is, okay, so here are two ways this can go. Either this is like a massive red herring, in the same way that like JoJolian at the beginning tries to tell us that Josuke is just Kira, and he's also a serial killer, and then that ends up being just a huge lie. Um, so I could imagine that this is something similar, where we're set up to think that he's kind of the same character, but then he's vastly different. Um, or that maybe Kishibe Rohan is a pen name and he's actually the alternate version of someone else. He's like,
Possible, yeah. I
he's like,
saw that
oh, he's
horrible comment where someone was like, "It's Joshua."
the
That's his pen name.
JoJolands. I saw one where it's like, oh, sorry, Kishibe Rohan, that's my pen name. My real name is Hirohiko Araki.
I mean, basically.
Yeah. Or like, oh, no, Rohan, that's just my pen name. My real name is Okuyasu Nijimura. Um, yeah, if it's just a red herring, whatever, like Araki's a troll. We do know that. He loves doing this shit. Um, if this is actually just Rohan and he's gonna be like a mainstay in the story, JoJolands is instantly the worst JoJo part. Because I cannot put into words how much I dislike Rohan. He might genuinely be my least favorite named JoJo character. It is insane. Which, that's a big burden to bear because Araki loves the guy, so he's in everything. Um but yeah, I'm not happy if this really is Rohan and he's just gonna stick around. Um
The fact that he loves Rohan so much is what makes me feel like it's not a bait and switch.
yeah, you think it's just him.
Yeah, because like this man loves Rohan. I love the
Yeah.
jokes about how Part 9 is actually just another Thus Spoke Shive Rohan.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I guess Rohan is gonna be at the very least, regardless of who he ends up being, he's gonna be the guy who teaches them about stands like properly, because they
Probably,
don't
yeah.
seem to know what they're called yet, or like what they actually do.
Yeah, like they're aware that they exist and what the powers are, but they don't like actually know anything properly
Yeah,
about them.
yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, I don't know, like it's whack. I don't like it. I think Rohan is a dumb character that shouldn't come back ever, and obviously Araki disagrees. That's kind of my main position here.
Yeah, well, you picked a bad character to hate because you picked the man's favorite.
I know, but I can't help myself. I hate Rohan so much. He's awful. He makes everything worse that he's in. He's an annoying character with a stupid power and a dumb like personality. I don't like him. He's voiced by the fucking lasagna man in the dub. I don't like him.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
true.
I think
He does have Lasagna Man's voice, which is unfortunate.
I I think they changed his voice actually for the Dust Spoke.
Well, I would
At
imagine they did.
dub.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean they changed Broly as well to who is it now?
Johnny
Johnny
Young
Young.
Bosch.
Good choice. Love Johnny Young Bosch.
Yeah, me too. Dude slams.
No. But yeah, JoJo gets I hope Rohan dies out of 10.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Then that's gonna put us at Ichinose Family.
All right.
Pretty
Huh.
fucking wild.
Yeah. So, what do we think of this like resolution?
Well, it's not really a resolution. Well, I guess it sort of is. That
It's the resolution of the first big mystery, right?
right. That he's been in a coma, and the loop is just that because he can't wake up to truth that doesn't exist. So,
Yeah,
but that still leaves just a shitload of questions like who's the fake dad then? How, like,
right?
well, who is he? Why are the family seemingly like able to be in that dream with him? And then why
Hmm.
can they be expelled from it?
Yeah.
Uh,
And also, I guess it kind of goes, kind of, we need to also go back to like what actually caused that incident. Was it just like a random one? Because, his dad figuring it out in the previous loop and then like crashing them on purpose. If this is a dream, it must be pulling from like actual memories to a certain degree. So that's
but then we also know that now that the parents, when they're dreaming, are literally dreaming themselves in there. So that was like a conscious decision
yeah.
on the part of the father.
But then also means does that mean that he then for a few nights now has been dreaming of being like the store clerk as opposed to the dad?
Maybe?
Okay,
I,
this is I fucking love this series. I think I can confidently say that now. This is so cool.
it is really good. I'm so lost still. I don't think I'm ever gonna be one of those people who's like, I've got it. I've got it, my maps and charts. I figured it out.
uh,
Um, but every single time they reveal something, it just opens up like a million new doors of questions and oh man. Also, still has horrible vibes. If I can,
oh yeah.
it's comfortably kept its atrocious vibes the entire time.
Yeah. As I said, every time you turn a page, it feels like you're about to see like a horribly detailed render of like roadkill.
Hmm.
And
Which
it's like
happens
that
on page 11.
oh god. It's not roadkill, he's not dead.
It's a road coma.
Yeah, road coma. That's me on the way back from the all you can eat sushi place. Um but yeah, so I guess now we're gonna start getting more into like conscious dream manipulation. Um which that's gonna be fucking interesting. Um Also, what was it? How many times did we hear that the loop has already happened?
Oh God, like a crazy amount of times.
Yeah.
What did the
Um
grandpa say? It was like 2,000 times, wasn't it?
yeah, right? That's the number I have here as well. Um which that makes more sense now because a dream can happen, over and over again.
Sure. I
It's
mean, if
not
it was 2,000 times or 2,000 days, maybe every time it loops is just when they wake up. Um, but also, what I don't fully get is like, if the family is dreaming into said dream, when they enter his dream world, do they forget about the real world, and they also actively have amnesia and only remember it when they're awake?
I think so because you remember the grandpa was saying that like he just remembers waking up and then he has to like figure it out from the start again, basically. So every time they dream into the dream, it's like a reset, and the only thing that they retain is that they survived a car crash. Um,
This is so fucked
because
up.
yeah, because also a day in the dream world doesn't have to be a day in the um in the real world.
Right,
So
because time is, can be as weird as it needs to be.
yeah, so probably what is like one loop essentially constitutes like one night, probably, if it's even that little. It could also be that in a night you can have multiple loops.
Right.
The same way you can have multiple dreams per night. Um, I guess the other question now becomes how does this work though with because assuming that they can only dream themselves into his coma world when they are actually sleeping. that would mean that half of the time, um, our boy would have to be alone in this dream world because it would be day and they would not, and his family would not be sleeping in the real world, whereas he, he's comatose 24/7.
Well, I mean, he sleeps in the dream world.
Oh, you think that sort of matches up with that?
I would imagine so.
Okay.
Um, I mean that we did kind of figure something was wrong because we get the explanation for why he's always got the bandages on. That we had
Yeah.
pointed that out a little bit, but also like, what if they're not all asleep at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, what if do they all experience different versions of the? Because there
Maybe.
has to be times where one of them goes to bed and one does not, right?
Wait,
Like
wait.
they can't all be.
Are there any scenes in like past chapters where like they're like, "Oh, where's dad?" and it's like, "Oh, he's gone to bed earlier or something." Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head.
Because that would be the
The
like
only
big.
time where they're wondering like where is someone is after the fake dad takes over.
Mhm. Um Also, damn, he dreamed of his young sister hanging out with an old pedophile.
Yeah, he sure did.
All right.
Apparently on a loop.
Damn, that must be a complex waiting to happen. Um but yeah, so I'm guessing now we're going to get like parallel narratives where like on one hand we'll be with Tsubasa
Dream
in the
Subasa, yeah.
yeah, and then we'll also be sort of outside with the parents. Damn, that's so cool though. That's really cool.
Well, and then also, I mean, if the parents figured out in the real world that they're going into the same dream, I mean, I'm sure they could tell the rest of the family too. I mean, too difficult there.
Hmm.
Um, but then will that have an impact on how the dream world works if they suddenly know about it? You know?
Yeah.
Because it seems like up till now they had just been writing it off as like, oh, I'm racked with guilt, and so I'm having this dream that
Hmm.
life is better than it is. But now that they're aware it's the same dream, that might fuck up the dream world too.
I guess. I mean, that's the other thing. With dreams, you obviously have the freedom to do some absolutely wacky shit, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's so cool. This is so cool. I really like this. Um, but yeah, Ichinose Family gets a very cool twist out of 10.
All right, next up is Blue Box.
Very cute. Big cute.
Very
I
cute.
like,
They got some long fingers on page 19, bro.
it's an advantage in
It's a
in
basketball
basketball.
advantage, obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, those are the grippers for like
palm that
revolve.
basketball.
Yeah. Um but yeah, no, it's a very sweet little like sequence where we get to hear about like get to see Taiki and Hina sort of talk a little.
Yeah,
And it's a little awkward, but it's fine.
I like the a reindeer lacking in strength.
Yeah. It's also a very cute outfit. Um yeah, like on page 10, the middle panel of Hina smiling, that's a very high quality Hina.
Yeah, that's a good Hina.
Yeah. And besides that, this is just a cozy chapter, but I really enjoyed the vibes. Especially, after we had that period where, he had to do that little run against the asshole guy to
Uh-huh.
get the tickets.
Against douche
Y- y-
McVillain.
Yeah, like after that, having a cozy chapter like that where everyone's just fine and, Yumeka and Chinatsu are reconnecting. That's cool. I really like that. Um I also like the sequence of like Yumeka slowly like letting go of her stoicism a little.
Yeah, getting into the game.
Yeah, like that's really cool. Um, yeah. So yeah,
It
I
was very
just really
cute.
like the vibes. I just really
Hmm.
like the vibes. Out of 10.
The only thing that weirds me out is that Chinatsu looks like she's, 14 or 15, and Yumika looks like she's 25. So that's a little weird, but
Well,
otherwise,
I mean that
very
happens
good.
in real life too. Let's be real.
I guess so,
Sometimes
yeah.
you just have friends that look a lot older, and some just look a
They
lot younger.
be aging fast.
Hmm.
But
Um,
yeah, it was cute.
yeah, it's good.
So that puts us at Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well, what do you think of it?
Shit's moving fast. We're trying to
Yeah.
end this series pretty soon, I think.
Okay. How come?
Um, because all of a sudden he's busted Maharaga out on just like a random person we just met.
Fair enough.
Um, the power is odd. The
Hmm.
the weird forging bit to like turn into a giant bug man monster. I don't really know. I don't
Hmm.
follow the line there.
Well, she like
Um,
creates like an armor, like a I don't know, like a flesh suit for herself. I think no.
yeah, I guess so. Um, Sukuna in Megami's body is still very cool.
Yes.
His divine dogs look funny. I don't know why they
Wait,
look weird.
I need to look at them again because I don't have them in my head. But
Page 11.
page 11. Oh yeah. What's up with that? They're like hippo teeth.
Yeah, they got like the little hippo tusks going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the person. What's Yo? Is it Yorozu?
Yorozu.
Yorozu. I like
Yeah.
the freak out that she's mad that he won't kill her with his own curse technique.
Yeah. They do seem to deserve each other. They seem to be equally fucking nasty and weird.
Yes.
Um, didn't necessarily need like the weird marriage shit with like them being in the bodies of each of two siblings. That's a little odd. Didn't
Yeah,
really need that
he
in my
he
life.
he'd be poking at that a little too much.
Yeah, right. Because what was it?
The
That lady with the fat ass and the fat
Meme,
axe. Yeah, Mei
yeah,
Mei. She also has that vibe going with her little
yes,
brother.
we poking the bear a little too much on that one. But
Yeah. Um. Also, I thought it was very sweet of Gege to include a panel of me on page 9 when she's talking about the feast. Little, little monkey head that's steaming. That's me after a long day of work.
that's us after reading Undead Unluck.
Zen and Ocean after reading one line of Undead Unluck. The two of us when we see a single Chinese word in our Japanese manga.
Oh,
That's why they put us in a home. um, but yeah, I mean, it's a fun chapter. It wasn't in my top 3, and it's mostly because I don't know, stuff just happening. They're flinging shit at each other. It's cool, but it's nothing that's really moving me right now.
get
If
behind that.
you know what I'm saying.
And then our final is Chainsaw Man.
We called it, didn't we? We were saying that it might be the falling devil.
I think we did. I honestly don't
Yeah,
remember. Um,
like the
or
heights
the
devil.
Heights Devil, I think is what we said, but it's close enough. Same
Yeah.
general vibe. What's
Hmm.
scary about heights is falling off of them. So
Well, yeah. Um, awful design. Just the nastiest.
yeah, really gross and nasty.
Uh huh.
Um, I like people on Twitter complaining that the falling devil is not scary enough. Like, oh, falling is dumb or whatever. They're like, it should have been the suicide devil, which is like nobody's afraid of suicide, dog.
I mean, more than that, the falling devil is also relevant to Asa because
Yeah,
that's like
also,
the
yeah,
thing that's
like,
been ruining her life.
yeah, because she constantly falls.
Hmm.
Um, Super fucked up about the cat.
Dog. Has Fujimoto ever had a positive interaction with a woman before?
Right? Like it's alarming, I think.
I mean, God, that whole thing is awful. Also, because cats are precious. Um, and she like Asa lost her family over nothing now, basically, because she saved the cat and couldn't save anyone else, and then the cat gets drowned for like the pettiest reason imaginable. Like, God damn it, Fujimoto, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, the man
Um,
has issues
yeah.
that need to be worked through.
I saw someone say that because this Fall Devil's ability seems to it almost looks like it's bringing them into hell because hell is the place with like the million doors.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
someone say like, what if Denji falls through and he meets that's how he meets the Blood Devil in hell?
Oh, maybe. I could
Yeah,
see
because
that.
we do still have that thread dangling.
Yeah, I mean, and Denji is supposedly on the way because
Yeah,
Nayuta told him to get over there.
yeah, slapped him on the ass to get over
Uh-huh.
there.
Said get out there.
Go go Chainsaw Man. Um, but yeah, man, just super fucked up in the best way possible. I
Yeah,
love.
in classic Fujimoto fashion.
hmm I love suffering. All my homies love suffering.
Agony, please.
Yeah. Um, Also just a very cool like power and visual of the falling devil. It's just causing them to like
Yeah, the
fall.
panel where Asa is clinging to the guardrail upside down. Very
Yeah.
good, very cool.
Yes. Um, and yeah, Chainsaw Man was extremely cool,
It
and
was.
I am very happy to see it continue being good. I'm guessing the question now is gonna be how is Asa gonna get out of this one, Scoob?
Yeah. I mean, I assume it's gonna be Denji's arrival that's gonna save the day here. Uh,
Yeah.
or at least in the short term. But also, like, it seems like people experience the Falling Devil's power differently.
Okay.
Well, because like other people look like they're like literally floating in the air, whereas Asa's the whole world flipped upside down for her.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably that the people who are floating in the air, for them it is flipped upside down because they're the ones chosen by the power. Because it does seem to
Maybe,
be
but
very
like Asa
selective.
literally is physically like doing a handstand on the railing.
Well, yeah, but I think the visual here is meant to communicate that they're falling, the way you would fall off a building. They're just falling in the opposite direction, and Asa can hold on like that because she's also, getting pulled away from the earth at whatever it is, 9 point whatever meters per second.
Maybe. I think the
Um,
guy that's messing me up is the guy on page 14 who just looks like he's levitating slightly. I think that guy's like fucking me up.
I don't know. I mean, if you were walking on the ceiling in an anti-gravity room and then they turn the gravity back on, in the first moment where you detach from the ceiling to fall, you would probably look like that too. Sort of if you like flip your phone around or whatever. That pose looks about right for someone who's, just detached.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But I'm more interested in so does the falling devil choose the victim based on like how much trauma they have
I
or like
I
how
mean,
much
I assume
repressed.
it's fear based, like because war is not flipped for
Yeah. Oh, that's
Asa.
true. That's true.
War is standing normally,
Oh,
um,
yeah. Good catch. Yeah, you're right.
and war is telling Asa that she needs to not be afraid. So I assume that like the initial reaction just hits you based on how like ingrained your fear of falling is, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's happening to people all over the place who obviously aren't even aware there's a devil there. So it's not just like, oh, I'm scared of this monster in this moment. So it probably has something to do with like how afraid you are of falling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I guess that does make sense because also the devil does say, "Oh, the lower your heart sinks, the higher your body falls." So I guess
Hmm.
yeah, it would also sort of interact with that. You're right. Um. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
All
In
right.
that
Well,
case, is that
that
curtains?
yeah, that's another one in the books.
Nice.
Thank you all for tuning in and for bearing with us with our irregularity. We know we were never that regular. That's also why we're in the home. But
Yeah.
uh, still, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
And we will see you guys next time. Figure out where everyone's falling to. Figure out where Chainsaw Man is.
Eggs on his way, possibly at Burger King.
I hope so.
Uh, possibly at Family Burger. Um, but yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.